would pinpoint the moment when I merged with you, Lada. It would have been midway down the staircase, watching from the final therapy session. That's when I called the one person who would solve everything for me, an immigrant, twice divorced single mom. The story started the same way as mine, with a diamond ring and a beige stucco house, with young children, with hope and trust morphing into threats, irregular cruelty, with withdrawal and silence. And now under the consequential choice. You picked up on the second ring. I'm leaving him, he told you. What am I supposed to do now? Tell me what to do. There was a pause in your arm when you said, okay, breathe. Your life is going to fall apart. Let's say that I care enough to be real with you, and no one has been real with me in a long time. And you rattled out the survival list. Get a PO box and keep it on the place. Deposit cash into your account, buy a laptop, keep it headed. I'll start looking at apartment listings with a washer and dryer and a car for the kids. Fast forward 2 years, in line at a night spot 45 minutes before closing, you in a cocktail dress and Pittsburgh Hills, me in a similar outfit in your closet. In the middle of downtown Encinitas, you and I are an odd spectacle. The theater killing us, friends were waiting outside with the table. I started small talk with a surfer and made me laugh. And after a few exchanges, he ripped a ring and said, we're not talking to him. The way he grabbed me was jarring. It was just your way, your hands on, possessive. He used me as if we were a single or entity. Back then, we spoke every day, often together, riding off in your Prius to LA or Tijuana, or to a local meditation house, taking lessons or out of the town. If I could launch a new career, so could you. If you could have 17 orgasms in a day, so could I, right? We had a common backstory, human of art, and my hope was that things would end up in a much better place for both of us. But then, only hours later, after getting into a car and downing a few shots before the bar closed, after I tugged you away from a stranger and you stumbled to my car, I was behind the wheel with you screaming into my ear, avoiding what I would come to know as your two-part relational step. The first one, the treaty on your life. The second one, the looking so close in the first place. And I would take the worst of you, Lana, because of your intensity, in your aquamarine eyes. You were that hot butter knife that sliced me down the middle, every time. Later, I was able to find out that I always said yes to you. From the moment we met at your neighbors, it was yes to having lunch, yes to coming over. Pay for you to babysit? To hire you admin work at your office? Yes, of course. And yes, I was rolled off my tongue, Lada, because you were that stunning. I always tried to be pretty. I gave myself into middle school, and when it didn't happen, the next best thing was to be near the prettiest girls, where the sun shone the brightest. I spent hours filling page after page with drawings of glamorous ladies. It seemed as if they floated through life. Even when we would have a falling out in the high school and off period, I still thought about you, Lada. Until one day you reached out. So much had changed. I quit smoking, I was working in tech, moved back to the area. My mother had passed away recently. I had been in rehab against her will. You were 2 semesters away from getting your certification, and you and your son were staying with a string of friends and didn't know where to go next. I opened up my home, and we moved in under a loose agreement. You chipped in for utilities, I'll pay for the rest. Other than that, just stay sober, Lana. During a period we lived together, but the kids were away, we'd sit on our porch and smoke. 2 puffs and a handful of liquid down. We really missed our kids. We missed your mother. Life went on without us. Everyone has dreams that they're pursuing, friends were remarrying but not separate homes. Paris in the spring, Costa Rica in the summer, and here we were, traveling to Trader Joe's. Except that a guy who wears knitted beanies didn't touch back. The feeling of a life we spent played too small, that despite all our gifts, multiple degrees, and charisma, it's survived. Was this your destiny, Lada? To of mid-season 5x10 porch? Would we ever get to be the people we wanted to be? You responded indirectly. You told me about when your then sister-in-law pulled you aside for a conversation, knowing full well what was happening behind closed doors. She said, "You must think my brother's a monster, but I want you to know what I'm seeing. I see my mother at the dining table, and to my father's report. I see my brother sitting on her lap, and they're at the table, crying together. You even know that he was that little boy once. Why did she tell you that, Lada? To define his character, to stop you from divorcing him? All we knew was that the long shadow of abuse and trauma had reached us, moving from his father to his mother, to the children who witnessed this, to him who grew up, to believe that love had a wide range of expressions. Could be planning your birthday, could be punishing you in front of your son. So now we don't get to become the people we want. We become the version of ourselves we need for survival. I've gone through the dining room memory so many times it felt like my own. Your pain, your tenacity, your rage, also mine. I have this tape to my monitor. When I don't know who I am you. When I am you, I serve you. When I serve you, I know who I am. Another piece of this story. At some point during one of those moist afternoons on the porch, the took a photo of me. There's a cigarette between two fingers and exhaling a small billow of smoke, but also something heavier and deeper within. My expression is dead serious as I look up at the outer frame, possibly towards someone who's been clear yet, or will be. We caught the transformation taking place. The most honest portrait of me out there was taken through your eyes, Lada. When I decided to post this photo online, I was met with a wave of dismissal. Who are you trying to be? How can you be vegan and smoke? You're a moron. That's not even everyone person. That's not the real you. And I wanted to tell them that Taylur doesn't actually exist. She's not real. She's a caretaker thing. Taylur, I'm in the fifth variation of my name. I don't have a signature look of my hairstyle. And you're going to swap my accent just like depending on how I'm around. Who do you think is Taylur's curated through TV shows, movies, and books from hundreds of people I've met and abused? When I think of things like the moment in the stairway where I and business ran through my ex towards you, there wasn't just one moment that broke us. Maybe an 873 square foot apartment was never intended for two families, Lada. Maybe because sometimes you paid or didn't pay, but there were always pineapple cartridges for your vape pen, which I asked you repeatedly not to use indoors. Because our pets live here and our lovers first. Maybe the guilt I felt when you went ahead and cleaned the house top to bottom and cooked the pot of borscht for me. Maybe the second-hand embarrassment I felt for you, what you had to deal with. Because you were a mother first, and a good one. Or when I told you I met this nice guy at the gym, and you got this place deep in your eyes like, hey, come on. You'll be bored of him in a few months. You were wrong, it took 4.5 years. Or when some mystery man started flying out to New York, and we were raving about how you met, and when I finally caught a glimpse of his picture, my heart sank. He was so much older, and by your standards, so short. That should have been an instant strikeout. I know what you were doing at the time, Lada, because I've done it too. You're numbing yourself to make it through. Okay, so he's going to put you up in a big house? Really? You used me when you told me, there'll be enough promises that we can all live together. As if I wanted in on this arrangement. Or when I ran into your friend who you stayed with before, she told me, you didn't have to accept that Lada has too many problems, and more than any of us can help her with. Then it all came to a head at 1 a.m. one night. You shouldn't have brought it up. I had it locked away in our archives. I diagnosis that completely diminished what was beautiful between us. The exact phrase you screamed into my face years earlier during our car ride home. And now again in my kitchen. You're jealous of me. You're just jealous because even started to laugh and couldn't stop. I didn't talk about night or even the next morning, but I finally told you to leave. You found a key for this ADU and after living with me for 6 months, you moved out. In reorganizing, I found a thousand mini bottles of alcohol hidden in the shelves and cabinets. I never did hear the rest of your sentence. You will never cut exactly. It was what you had been telling me all along. Well, you can wear my clothes. You can make more money and live in a better place. You can sleep with the man I slept with. And you can keep following me around like a kitten, lifting up my heels. None of it matters. Because there's no way in this lifetime any of that will change the fact that you will never fucking be me. It's found I say, shut up, Lada. I wasn't trying to be here. I closed the cycle between us long ago. There were parts of you that I didn't like that made you unbearable. You said you never wanted to age well. It's frozen in time now, forever 41. As things stand tonight, you are faceless with a fake name, resurrected to a character study. I'd like to think that when I run into old friends who tell me I'm so different now, that there's something that wasn't there before, a certain je ne sais quoi, that they see not just me, but both of us, Lada, the rest